Hola, mucho gusto. Yo me llamo Sandra Saucedo. Hello, my name is Sandra Saucedo.
So, hi everybody, my name is Fanny Guzman. My gender pronouns are she, they, them. I consider myself a queer woman of color. I'm a mother, grandmother. I am from Boyle Heights.
The way I am connected to the Eastside Cafe, it is literally when I became unhoused and started sleeping in my car, I was right outside here in this space. Before I was unhoused and lived in an apartment with my kids, I used to come here for many different programs like MMA, Women's Circle, yoga, different things, different programming they had. And I was really fascinated with all the mujeres, all the women in the indigenous practices. When I became unhoused, this is actually the place that I used to come to feel a little normal, very much be in community, and also to wash up because it is hard living in the streets.
Well, I wasn't part of the starting point of the Reclaiming Our Homes campaign. I was brought in to be the facilitator of network building and the people's policy initiatives. And within my community, I am a co-founder of Fideicomiso Comunitario Tierra Libre, which is a tool for the communities to remove land and housing from the speculative market so we can put it in community control. And so basically, this is like a unique opportunity to stay for the ROH grassroots movement to continue in that self-determination. So the Community Land Co-op, it would be a nonprofit organization, pretty much like the CLT in Boyle Heights, or where it's democratically run by the community, and so the decisions are based on the needs and wants of the community. But again, because it's such a poor community, we weren't able to do anything until we were able to get some public funding and resources. An example of that would be the County of LA awarding $14 million to 5 CLTs, 5 local CLTs at that point. You know, with those $14 million, it might seem like it's a lot of money, but it's like pennies, to be honest. But we were able to acquire 7 buildings with the 5 CLTs. That means that 21 families are stabilized. They didn't have to worry about being disposed or losing their homes, especially like right at the pandemic, because this happened right at the start of the pandemic. And so, like, understanding and knowing that when people tienen las ganas to change the material conditions, we can do it. But we need the support, we need the funding to make it possible, and to create something new, an alternative to what the system has, which is very disposable, very violent, and it will give us that opportunity for building that equity that we need, because when you don't have a house, your health deteriorates, and we've seen it. We just lost one of the reclaimers as well, and we don't want to continue seeing our community losing their lives and their health. We want to thrive, and we have the tools to do it. We have the ganas, the homes are there available, and why not? Caltrans, has been sitting on these homes for over 5 decades along 3 different cities, El Sereno, Pasadena, and South Pasadena. And Caltrans is just always creating internal guidelines to oppose people from reaching home ownership, because it would mean home ownership at the deep affordability, because the Liberty Act also stipulates that Caltrans has to sell these homes at the original price that they were acquired. So if a home was acquired like 50, 60 years ago for 13,000, 18,000, that's the price that Caltrans has to sell it. But instead of selling it to the tenants, they started bidding the homes to housing-related entities, right? But these housing-related entities are recreating the same extractive system where they're not here to rent at a deeply affordable rate, but to extract wealth from our communities. And the people here are like extremely low income, and you know, even I have like we have a set amount of income that comes in, and so like people are killing themselves with 2, 3 jobs just to make ends meet, and that's not even affordable. You still have to live with another family to make ends meet. And so that's where our project is unique with the Reclaiming Our Homes, where we want to make it into like the fabric of public social housing, where it's based on what we can afford, right? And also like not to have to worry about making those repairs, but creating not only the land cooperative, but a worker cooperative from within the community that can help us fix our homes at a deeply affordable rate.
Protesters drawing the line, stopping deputies from evicting 70-year-old Benito Flores.
I'm going to fight the eviction
He calls himself a reclaimer.
because they are reclaiming a place to live.
Flores has been living in this Caltrans-owned home in El Sereno for roughly 5 years. It's one of dozens of homes that sat vacant for decades because of a proposed 710 freeway expansion that never happened.
Caltrans have 170 houses empty for 20 years. Why? That is an absurdity.
Would you be able to survive in the street?
I want to die in the street because I got diabetes. I chose to die here, die as a martyr to call the attention about the housing problem.
Before living here, Flores was living in his car for more than a decade and eventually seized a vacant home during the pandemic. Then he says he moved here after reaching a lease agreement with the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles, or HACLA. That agreement came to an end 2 years ago.
I am an elder who is getting evicted.
Flores says HACLA violated the agreement by not providing him housing prior to the eviction notice. Flores says he'll resist arrest until the end, but not from the ground.
I made a cabin on the top of the tree, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to wait for the sheriff there.
The actual day of the eviction, he was preparing to climb the tree and stay up in the tree as long as he could so that they don't get to him. An accident happened and he fell. Maybe 2 stories down. And then he was laying there.
And he lay there for a couple of days, which is the heartbreaking part because we weren't able to be there as we were supposed to be. So that's the heartbreaking part, right? The realities that we have, like Benito had to put his life at risk to make a point, right? That housing is a human right. And, all these housing related entities, HACLA, one of them, acquire some of those homes while they were putting the families out. They could have made a community agreement with the Reclaiming Our Homes and made sure that didn't happen. Benito would be alive right now. Joseph would be alive too because they put him a year before all this happened. Joseph was displaced. He was disabled. He needed the oxygen machine and they didn't care. They still put him out in the streets like that. They didn't follow up with him. They didn't make sure. Benito was the one taking care of him. We were all taking care of him. We would take turns. This project is very much rooted in the vision that Benito was part of forming with the collective, which is basically like building the sustainable, economical way of like making sure that people are not disposed of. And we have to be the ones to create it if we want it to be long-lasting, because we then we'll have the housing-related entities that will acquire these homes, push people out, and will continue to recreate that systemic violence, the state-sanctioned violence that disposes people.
The Reclaiming Our Homes very first action was to organize to take, I want to say, occupy or reclaim the homes. And it was really a collective effort, really, you know? It's not like one person or two people or three, it was hundreds, maybe, I don't know, it was hundreds. And many organizations came together, and we entered the homes in 2020, the second week of the pandemic, and we basically squatted for a few months, where nothing was, there was no utilities, there was no furniture, no nothing, until we put a call out for mutual aid. And that I believe was the first movement to reclaim. We have been in the spaces where people don't want us to be, where these entities, and mainly overall, like, they don't want us to be taking up space, making comments, calling them out, and in these very bureaucratic hours of the day where only certain people can go and make it and have the time to follow what is going on,
I mean, Caltrans doesn't have any public meetings, and the one that they had was, I believe, in South Pasadena about 2 years ago that we attended. You could feel like the racism exerting from all over, because you felt like you were in the 1960s. You had the guy that was facilitating the meeting, and if someone didn't say what he wanted to hear, he would shut them up and kick them out. That was insane. He did it like 4 times, and everybody in the room started yelling at him to hear the people, right? But it was more than that. He had the CHP all over, and to me, it was very oppressive to be in there, and to hear, like, you see these things in the movies, but it's like you're living it all over again. It's like, it's very rooted in racism, heteropatriarchal racism. You have people who are in charge of what happens here. This is called like Division 7 for Caltrans. You have people that have nothing, no direct connection to this community, but have the power to decide if they sell the homes to the people or not, even though there's like the reverting law, but they don't follow it because they create their own internal guidelines to prevent and block people from accessing home ownership. The external thing, the biggest challenge is the funding, having those resources, right? Imagine what else we could have accomplished if we were to have those funds and those resources to continue advocating, because the advocacy is not just locally, it's statewide. Yeah.
Somebody along the way will, unite themselves to our movement, because it's really, like, who doesn't need a home? Like, it's a basic need,
I think celebrating our small wins, every win that we make is something that, for me personally, fulfills me. Another thing that I recently like to do is to travel. Part of my job was to travel with the reclaimers to make public comments. We would travel to San Jose, Madero, Sacramento, San Jose, wherever we needed to travel to go give those public comments. But I would always make time to also have some fun with them. One of the things I dearly hold on to is, like, Benito had never traveled. And so when we went to San Francisco, I took him to the San Francisco Bridge. And I'm like, have you been here before? He's like, no. He's like, can I run? And I go, yeah, go run. Like he went running, and I was able to do that with him twice, and so that made me feel really, really fucking good, um, because like we're human beings. Like we need to recalibrate ourselves, and we have to be very resilient in the ways we do it. Um, this system makes it so it makes it difficult for us to enjoy that. We know that a different alternative is possible. And so, like, it's up to us to create that again. And we just have to continue. Like, sometimes we have those contradictions within our communities. We already had a land trust here in El Sereno, but, it's not community run, it's not community led. But we celebrate what we were able to accomplish with them. But at this point, it's like we need our own community land through the land co-op. We need to be able to continue on that direct vision of making the impossible possible with these empty homes, so we can create a stability for our communities in the long term, in a very regenerative, healthy way, and sustainable way.
Yeah, I want to say that, that when I was still unhoused and staying in my car, it was very easy to ignore the circumstances and be like oblivious, really, when I thought that nothing could be done, that the system is like too big to tackle, but actually it's not. Like I do it day by day, and that's what I told myself when I got out of my car. Like, the hard conversations are gonna happen, but I'm gonna be here for it. And yeah, mainly because I have children, and now my children have children. So life is not gonna stop. It's really just like getting better, It's not, yeah, like the things that I thought that were not meant for me, like I could see that it is. Why not? Like anything can be possible if you just wake up and work for it.
I think it's a beautiful thing to actually take the time to like share the work that we do, because like sometimes we don't stop, like we just keep on going, and it's because that's how the system is built. It's created that way where you are not a human being and you're just producing, right? And that's not us. We're like, we are not the same people we were before coming to the Eastside Cafe, before being part of the Reclaiming Our Homes grassroots movement. Like, we change every day.
Let's all do our part.
Yeah. I mean, we know that we can become homeowners as individuals, but as a collective co-op, we can take ownership, right? We can learn about what others have done so we can continue that movement of changing the material conditions, because the system is killing us, it's overworking us, and it's not investing in our health as equity, so we have to do it ourselves. And we believe that we can do it through this project that is a grassroots project by Reclaiming Our Homes, rooted in our culture that we practice here. The Eastside Cafe is based on Zapatismo. We strongly believe that we are, moving forward, mandando obedeciendo, which basically means it's like we lead by listening to the needs and wants of our community. And that's the only way we're gonna get to do it. So we want for others to learn that they can be part of this movement, whether you have funding to help us or whether you have some capacities that you can step in and help us do the work. Yeah, because we can't do it alone.
Yes, it's time for the community to come together, and we can also do a lot of things. We don't need external, things. We can do that ourselves, and we have the motivation.